everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ellie and today I am going to go through my reread shelf with you. So there are a lot of them. I haven't counted, and this isn't every book on my shelves that I would like to reread. These are ones that I've been thinking about rereading for a while and I still haven't gotten around to. Also, in most cases, when I want to reread a series, I've just put the book on here that I'm up to, and we'll talk about that. So, without much preamble, we're going to jump in. One thing I am going to say is you're going to see that my wrist is wrapped. I'm fine. I burnt my hand making tea. It was very embarrassing and painful and I'm just keeping it wrapped so that I don't knock the burn while I'm at work and in my sleep and stuff like that. So let's get into them with kind of the opposite of what I've said. So I have one series that I've put all the books on that shelf, and we'll start with those. The reason I did this is because they're all mass market, so they don't take up much room. Okay, and those ones are a collection of different Sabrina Jeffries books. This piece of hair is really annoying. So I have a few of them here from two different series. I'm not going to go through and show them all because there's a few of them, but I do have the song. I do have the School for Heiresses series and also this series, which I forgot the name of. What is the name of this series? The Hellions of Halstead Hall. So I have quite a few of these. I started rereading all of my Sabrina Jeffrey books last year in November, I think, and these are the ones I have left, which is most of them. But I will get to them eventually. I think I've read 4 or 5 of them so far, so I'm not going terribly. I have started. And then I have a couple of other mass markets that I'll just show you here now. First up, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. This is Penelope's book, and as I'm sure many of you know, season 3 is about to drop, which is Penelope and Colin's series. I did not reread books 1 and 2 ahead of the seasons coming out. I just ran out of time, and I will quite possibly run out of time with this one, but I'm gonna try and sneak it in before I watch the season. We'll see if it works out that way. Okay, and I also have Kiss of Steel by Beck McMaster, which I read early last year. I met Beck McMaster in February and I'd read this one before then. This is the first book in the series, which I'm forgetting names. What is the name of this series and why does it not say? I can't remember. Is it Steampunk London? Something like that. I don't know. I really love this one, but I never got to the rest of the series. I bought them all, just haven't got to them, and it was kind of getting to the point where I was like, I just need to reread this first book because I am not going to remember enough to continue at this point. In fact, I could say almost all of these continue that theme of I want to continue the series and I do not remember enough from this book. Let's just go through and start with a couple. right off the bat, we've got some of them. This is Playing with Hellfire by Mila Young and Harper A. Brooks, which is the first book in the Sin Demon series. Read this at an undisclosed time because I can't remember when. I enjoyed it and bought the rest of the series, got them all signed, haven't continued. I think I read this one originally in like 2 hours. It's a pretty quick read. It's reverse harem, paranormal, so it just kind of flew through it. And I'm hoping that'll be the same the second time around and possibly with the rest of the series too. I think there are 6 or 7. I don't know. I don't even know where they are on my shelves right now, but one day. I've talked about these next 2 in my Shelf of Shame video where I have the sequels for them, but I have King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett Sinclair. You can go watch that video if you want to hear my thoughts on this. And then I also have the Valkyrie's Viking by Tanya Nielsen. I really enjoyed both of these the first time around. I don't think I'm gonna dislike this one at all, but this isn't my usual kind of genre. It is Vikings, which is not something I read a lot about. In fact, this is probably like the 3rd book about Vikings that I've ever read. But I want to continue and finish the series off. This one, I'm less certain that I'm going to enjoy again. Again, you can go watch that video if you're interested in hearing why I think that is. Let's talk about some that I am really excited to read. I have Frostheart by Jamie Littler. Absolutely loved this when I read it, and I got sent the 2nd book by Mel and the 3rd book by Tracy, and I just want to reread this one and read them in a close succession so that I can remember what happens, and I'm very much looking forward to that. This will definitely be something that I pick up post Eurovision-a-thon. I'd hoped to pick it up beforehand, but I just ran out of time to get to all 3 before the readathon started. Okay, we've got 2 by the same author in different series here. Katie Robert. We have Neon Gods and The Dragon's Bride. This is a Deal with a Demon series, and this is the Dark Olympus series. Love both of them. Definitely considered Katie Robert one of my favorite authors for a while there. I haven't read anything from her in probably more than a year now. I don't remember. I don't remember, but it's been a while. So I'm looking forward to rereading these. I want to continue both series, so I just have to make the time to get to them. There's really no rhyme or reason to any of the rest of these. I'm just gonna show them in whatever order. This one here is A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows by Holly Renee. Also really enjoyed this one when I read it pre-Babe. So got this one. Signed it, Babe. Somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. There we go. Haven't continued the series. Would really like to do that. Okay. This one here, I have An Heir Comes to Rise by CC Penarata. This I read for India Courts in the first year, whenever that was, I think. First year? Maybe. I don't know. I read it for India Courts at some point. Loved it. Again, this is a series. Haven't continued. Mostly because I don't own the other books, but I am pretty sure they're on KU. So I'd like to reread this. If I still like it, continue. Okay. Here's a series I have the 2 books from. This is the Lord Peter Wimsey series by Dorothy L. Sayers, Whose Body and Cloud of Witness. I read these, I think I read Whose Body in 2020 when I was in London. I bought them in London and I enjoy both of them, but I don't own the 3rd book and thus I just never got to it. But I really want to get back into it. I read a little bit about Dorothy L. Sayers and I found her really interesting. So now there have been a couple of later books in the series that I'm really excited for. So I want to reread these and then go into the rest of the series. Let's go next to Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. This is just a duology and I still never got to the 2nd book. In my defense, I borrowed this one from the library, I don't know, maybe a little while after it came out, and then my library never got a copy of the 2nd book, so I never read it. And then I found this one at a little free library last year at some point, I think. What a years. I remember very little about this, so I want to give it another shot, and again, if I enjoy it, I will continue. Alexandra Bracken has been a favourite author of mine for quite a few years now, so I'm hoping, like, I know this isn't going to be one of my favourites of hers, but I'm hoping it still stands up to my memory. And then we have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which I've said that I would reread for so long and I still haven't. I did start it. I think I started it twice. I think I started it around October because I thought spooky season, perfect time to read this. And then I think I also tried to start this in February when I was in a bit of a slump and I thought maybe this would be it. But both times I just was not in the headspace for a book like this. I remember very little about this book, except for that one scene. If you've read it, I'm sure you know which one I mean, because that is stuck in there forever. That is never coming out of my head. And I'm not sure if I'm ready to relive that. We'll see. Really, really want to read the next one, but one day. Okay, last couple here, and it's getting really cold in here, so let's move through them so that I can turn the heater back on. Next, this is quite possibly the only standalone on here. I guess it's technically part of a series, but it's also kind of a standalone, and that is Salt to the Sea by Rita Sepetys. So this is kind of a sequel to Between Shades of Grey, but it's also a companion because there's different characters, so you can also read it as a standalone. I had an idea last year where I was going to do a reading vlog where I reread the books that emotionally destroyed me. Obviously I then took my long break from videos and I never did it. It's still a possibility. Let me know if you would enjoy watching me put myself through torture, emotional torture. Let me know. I'm still going to read it. Don't know when, but I will still read it. And then I thought I would end with 2 that I've actually started. Isn't that so exciting? First up, we have Only When It's Us by Chloe Lice. And I have read 136 pages, which is just under halfway. I was reading this just before Eurovision-a-thon started, and I'd been in such a slump that I just couldn't bring myself to finish it before the readathon started. but it's one of the first things I'm going to pick up afterwards. And then our last one for the video is going to look very strange, but bear with me. This is, I don't know if you can really see it, but it is The Mark of Athena by Reread, book 3 in the Heroes of Olympus series. I have this paper, which I have blue tacked to the cover because I am arachnophobic, and there is a photo of a massive, of, what is her name? Arachne, I think. Yeah, there's a illustration of her, spider lady, and no thank you. So rather than even just, oh, the word just gives me shivers. Rather than seeing that every single time that I read this book, I just covered it. I did not get very far. I read 20 pages, and yes, when it comes to that chapter scene, I'm just gonna skip it this time. Don't need to relive that. But I've been saying I would reread this series for years, and we are now on the 3rd book, so I'm hoping that I can push through this one again just after Eurovisionathon ends, and then we can move on to book 4, and then once we do book 4 we can do book 5, and then I'll be done. One step at a time. It's gonna be fine. Just have to get through this one first. That is all of them right now. There are always a million different things that I want to reread on my shelves, and things that I don't own, and like even sitting here I'm like, I could reread Bone Gap. I love that book. Haven't read it in years, but these are the ones that I'm trying to work through. Don't have a time schedule. I'll pick them up when I pick them up, or I will lose interest and not want to read them anymore. So that is them. That's a lot of them, but I'd love to hear what you want to reread, or if you don't reread, why. And I will see you all next time. Bye. Oh, I need tea.